What's up?
Time you got it.
I know.
For God's sakes. How are you?
See you.
Bill or Brian? No, I know. I just been through that with him. Hey, man. How are you?
Good to see you.
All right.
Good, all right.
Come on in, man.
Thanks.
Come on down to the pub.
All right, quieting down now. Live from the Brit and Yankee Pub Studios. Another Brit and Yankee Craft Beer Pubcast. I can hear the pints being pulled right now. Take it away, lad. You are paying for that beer, aren't you?
Pump up the bitter. Pump up the bitter.
Happy New Year, everybody. Matt here with the Midwest Brew Review. Obviously, Brian and Billy next to me here. And we're starting the new year off, 2020. Very uniquely here. We're at
New Year.
Yeah, right. We're recording at the Brit and the Yankee Pub here. There's Phil.
Familiar face.
And there's Chuck. All of you have been on our video at some point here. We're going to film the podcast, The Brit and the Yankee, here in just a few minutes, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. And we're doing a little video with it, so stay tuned.
We are the Brit and Yankee Pubcast. Welcome. This is show number 340, or as we like to call it, Pubcast 340. And I am Phil Clark, the Brit. This is going to be kind of a different show. We're going to do kind of a bit of a look back on 2019 and perhaps what's going to happen in 2020 according to us idiots. We are down in darkest West Chicago at the Brit and Yankee Pub, and my first guest host over there on my right, your left, my good buddy from Hotvine Brewing Company in Aurora, Mr. Ken McMullen.
Buenos noches, Phil.
Buenos noches, Ken, from Church Street, head brewer and all-around good guy, and that is Mr. Chuck Ford.
¿Qué pasa?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, he changed up. And now we'll introduce our very, very special guests. There's three of them. It's a trio. It's a menage a video. Because these are... Because these guys are from Midwest Brew Review, and they're the guys who go around to all these places and stick this bloody camera in your nose. And...
We do that quite often to you, Phil.
And Matt is our first. Hi, Matt.
Ooh, hey, how are you?
Now, you're the cameraman.
I am, yes.
And so the other two just hangers on. Is that what it is?
I like to think of it as the talent over here, so that, they're the talent. We'll call them the talent. Gotta keep them happy. You know,
okay.
So.
Well, next to you is one half of the Nouse brothers, and I didn't realize they were brothers until somebody said, well, look at their names. And I went, oh, shit, you're right. Then we got Bill.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Bill. Welcome to the pub.
Thanks,
and next
good to be here.
him, the man who actually looks like he drinks craft beer because he's got a beard and like sweeping back hair. It's Brian.
Yep, hello.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So now you guys have brought along beers, right, that you have particularly liked in 2019 or are going to like in 2020.
That's correct.
That's good, yeah.
Wow, they're soothsayers.
You nailed it, yeah.
But we are going to start with Ken McMullen. What did you bring along, Ken?
That is Floyd Morningside's sour old ale. Well, it's a mixed fermentation sour. The base beer is an old ale.
All right, so we'll test this out. So you put this beer into Fobab, right?
I did.
And the bastards bypassed it, didn't they?
Well, yeah.
Those bloody judges.
Well, this was not supposed to be a sour.
Okay.
The fermentation started slow, and then it was just creeping, and there was a hint of sourness in it, and I was a little worried early on, and ultimately thought I was going to be dumping this batch. But I let it go, and it just kept creeping and creeping and creeping, and it got a little more sour, and it actually got kind of interesting. I transferred it to another tank, put it on oak, toasted oak, and that kind of rounded it out.
Yeah, and I'm interested to know, was it a really big toaster that you put the pieces of oak into, and did they pop up once they were toasted?
Yeah. That's exactly how I did it.
What do you guys got in terms of views on this.
So when I first started getting into sours, I noticed that it was almost like the IBU race. Like everyone was going puckering and they're dropping that pH and trying just to be a little bit better than the others. I like these a lot better. I like how it's like delightfully tart and not, melting your teeth. I love that about it. And it's dry. I like it. It's kind of deceiving. You're expecting heavy, but it actually is nice and it dries up real good. So I'm a fan.
So tell us a little bit about what it is, and it's in a can.
Yes.
There we go. I cracked it open, and I'm going to pour this one. And tell us all about it.
It's our Holy Cow Milk Stout that we put into Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels. And it was 2018, it took a silver. And then we put it back into the same barrels. And I told the guys, I was like, don't do that. It's not gonna win anything again because it's a second run barrel. It's not gonna have the same bourbon character, whatever. This is probably the first year I haven't really gone to full bad, but this year I was so tired I couldn't go. I just couldn't go. It's just like, let somebody else go.
I made up for you. I was there the whole entire weekend.
Yeah, I bet you were.
He's getting old. And why were you tired, Chuck?
I was tired because I'd just taken over as head brewer at Church Street, and it was it was a time where we were down a person. And we also had gotten really busy at the time, and full bad was coming up. So we had to do all these things at once. And so by the time I got everything packaged for full bad, I just thought, okay, that's it, I did it. And I just went home and passed out. And next thing I know, I'm getting my pockets vibrating. It's like, what the hell's going on? And, it's like, oh, we want again.
And Holy Cow has long been my favorite milk stout, because of that little smoky end to it.
You get that that roasty quality right at the very end of it. It's very nice.
Yeah, now it is Matt Senecas.
Yeah, there you go.
Choice of beer, which comes in a pint and is orange.
A very orange
and
can.
It's even called Blazed Orange. So it's
orange.
Hot Butcher for the world.
It is.
Is it for the world?
It is for the world, yeah.
God's sakes, they're really lofty.
It's a long title, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why you picked this beer.
So
why the f I'm drinking.
Oh my gosh!
So first reason,
Joe Bob.
First reason is because that you can't see through it, and I said, "Oh, Phil would love this." So my favorite beer, though, of this version was the double blazed orange. So you lucked out, Phil. You lucked out.
This is the light one.
And this is the light one, apparently.
I want to get the
Blaze light.
full. I want to get the full experience.
Yeah,
here, so
baby.
I'm
Get it.
cracking open.
Phil's just gonna chug it right now. But this is what Hop Butcher is known for.
And they're known for this. This is right. Exactly. This is kind of one of their flagship
hazy
beers.
production beers.
Right. So you get that smooth, you get the smooth kind of pillowy mouth feel type thing that you get with their kinds of beers.
As the kids say, crushable.
Crushable mouth feel, yeah.
What was 2019 for you? What was some of your highlights for you?
2019 was crazy. We're growing still, and we're getting to go to these. This is like the side effect from all of this that we didn't really expect is we're getting these nice little perks or invites from people and all the brewers and the industry people that watch the channel.
Everyone's
awesome.
very friendly and welcoming.
Right,
That's one thing about the beer industry is that it's we got two competitive breweries here sitting here on your podcast.
My relationship with Church Street goes back almost to the beginning of Church Street. I mean, Hopvine opened, I think, just a couple months after Church Street, if I remember right. And we brewed our first 3 batches at Church Street.
The reason I brought this is because looking back on 2019, I felt like there were a lot of, the style and the trends were really going extreme. You saw a lot of lactose, you saw a lot of sweet, and you saw a lot of big adjunct beers. And then here comes, Dovetail, and this was just like a breath of fresh air, which is weird to say for a Vienna or a classic style, but is it a trend, guys? I don't I hope lagers are coming back, and it's just weird to think of a Vienna lager as a trend, but these guys do. These guys are specifically lager producers. They don't touch ale yeast, from what I understand, and everything I've had from them is phenomenal.
I got to tell you, I love Vienna lagers, and I look for those when I go to breweries, and more often than not, I'm finding them there. I think Vienna lagers I think they're happening.
So, how was 2019 for you, Bill?
You know what? It was was a fun year, especially for the channel. I think we did a lot of cool events. I think that 2019 for me was, I love visiting breweries, but the beer events I felt like were phenomenal this year. Beer Under Glass, I mean, anything Craft Brewers Guild does is fantastic. But the Beer Under Glass, me and Matt had an absolute blast there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We couldn't believe the access and the camaraderie with all the brewers, and we talked about that before, but the access to the brewers, and you won't see anything like that where everyone that poured the beer was actually made the beer, and they actually were willing to talk, and it was fun, you know, and they were super engaging. But we did some weird with Lagunitas Circus, first timers, like
that was weird.
yeah, I just feel like our year was peppered with cool events, and you know, and I hope to see a lot more of that in the future. Alter had a really cool anniversary.
Yeah, so Beer Under Glass I didn't go to, and it sounded like the Super Bowl. What these guys made it sound like.
Okay, so that was one of my first Beer Under Glasses, and I came with Ken, and I have to say, by about booth number 5, I was pissed as a newt. Brian, you have brought something which is a medal winner. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the beer, why you selected it, and I'm going to crack it open.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I chose.
Oh, there we go. I love that.
I chose Beezer from Old Irving Brewing. There we go.
Oh, wait a minute! It's another frickin' hazy. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one has some meaning behind it. So, you know. So this is a 6.9% double dry hopped IPA. Yeah, this one won hazy IPA gold for GABF this year, Great American Beer Festival. So
out of 340 odd.
I was going to say, was that the most populous category?
Yeah.
The reason I chose it is we went to we were in Westmont. We were invited to do a Westmont festival. So you know, we went around, tried everything, did our video jam, our thing, and we were all in agreement that this was the best beer there by far. And then this was before GABF, so like the reason that's meaning to me is like, hey, actually, maybe we do know.
Maybe we sort of know.
Maybe we do know a little something. Like like we're not just like goofballs on a camera.
Yeah.
But getting back to trends in beers, I think for 2020, I got two things. I got two things that I think. One's specific to Illinois. One I think in general. I think a lot of Illinois craft breweries are going to start doing THC water. My other thing is I think the barley wines are going to come hard. Actually, and Phil's going to like this. I think but he might hate this. I think adjuncted barley wines are going to come hard.
Hazy barley wines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hazy barley wines.
Number 8 on my top 10 list was the beer that we're going to taste now.
All right.
Which we had, Ken, when we went out to Generations Brewing Company in Freeport. Now they do a beer called Jelly Donut, but they also take that Jelly Donut and they barrel age it. It's a Berliner Weiss, and they call it Smelly Donut. Because I'm going to open this up now, and as Stephen out there, who is the brewer, he said you're going to get a smell of blue cheese.
Seriously, when I heard blue cheese, that's not like something you look for in beer.
As you smell the aroma of this beer, you definitely get blue cheese, but as it gets closer to
But it's more than that.
there's more of a sour,
I get more sour.
I was to say,
Sour and funk.
Right,
I was gonna say
Yeah.
funky berries for me.
Yeah. So he aged this it's a Berliner Weiss in Bordeaux, wine, and American whiskey barrels.
Yeah, once the blue cheese kind of wafts away, we've covered the nose. The blue cheese wafts away. I get big funky berries,
Very much so.
on the nose, and then when you drink it, it's thin body. And the berry, it's a pretty sharp tartness, but it definitely doesn't linger. It's got a nice clean finish, but there's a big punch of flavor there, you know, before it cleans up.
All right, we're closing everything out here at the Brit and Yankee Pub Studios. Guys, what do you think?
Oh, we had an awesome time. Thank you, Phil. This is our first podcast ever. I think we did okay. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
You sucked.
Be sure to check out Church Street and Hop Vine. And guys, anything else?
And remember, it's just beer, but it's pretty damn good.
You know, you're sitting there sniffing it and taking your time and
drink it.
very quick.
I like to let it wash over me.
Okay. I can imagine Bill in a tub filled with washing over him. Miskatonic.
Take it away, lads.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to pause this
Thank God
while
for the
we
towel.
clean up in aisle 3.
I think
Oh, shit.
And you don't have to. Did you run out of battery?
No, I forgot to press the flag.
How long has this been going on?
So, since we started.
Oh, come on.